Hello everyone, welcome back to the Jikook Moments channel. What if a scene that looks incredibly simple actually holds a much deeper meaning than we ever imagined? In the Swim music video, there's one brief moment that may only last a few seconds, yet it's enough to leave many people speechless. As Jungkook sings the line, "I could spend my life looking at you," while staring directly at Jimin and handing him a drink, is it really just part of the concept? Or is there something more personal that was unintentionally captured on camera? The more we pay attention, the more it feels like this isn't just an ordinary scene. That gaze, that timing, and the way everything unfolds, it doesn't feel like a coincidence. And what's even more interesting, this isn't the first time we've seen a pattern like this. So, what is actually hidden behind that small moment? And why do so many fans feel like there's an untold story beneath it? In this video, we're going to break everything down, from the subtlest details to meanings that may have gone unnoticed all this time. We've just witnessed another Jikook moment in the Swim music video that, honestly, is almost impossible to miss for those who pay close attention to even the smallest details. Among all the scenes presented, there is one that truly stands out. A short but meaningful clip where Jungkook sings that line while looking directly at Jimin and calmly handing him a drink. At first glance, this scene might seem simple. It could even be considered a normal part of the music video's storyline, something intentionally designed to fit the visual concept and narrative of the song. Nothing excessive, nothing dramatic, just a light interaction that flows naturally. But that's exactly where its uniqueness lies. When we pause and truly observe, something feels different. It's not just about the lyrics being sung, nor simply the act of handing over a drink. It's about how all of it happens at the same time. The way Jungkook delivers the line, the direction of his gaze, and the emotional context created in that moment. That gaze doesn't feel empty, nor does it seem like mere acting. Instead, there is a clear focus, as if all his attention is directed toward just one person, Jimin. This is where the scene begins to carry a deeper weight. The moment becomes even more intriguing when we recall a past instance where Jungkook once said during a live broadcast, "I always look at you, Jimin SSI." That sentence, from the very first time it was spoken, already surprised and touched many fans. Now, when connected to the scene in Swim, it seems to gain a new context, a continuity that's hard to ignore. What might once have been seen as coincidence now feels like a pattern. And that pattern doesn't appear just once. If we look back at various other moments, whether in interviews, on-stage performances, behind-the-scenes clips, or casual interactions outside the spotlight, one consistent thing becomes apparent. Jungkook often naturally seeks out Jimin's presence. In the midst of crowds, among countless distractions, or even in situations that don't require focusing on anyone in particular, his attention repeatedly seems to return to the same person. This isn't just a passing glance. Nor is it a forced interaction. There's a sense of spontaneity, almost reflexive, which makes it feel even more genuine. Brief glances that happen too often to be called coincidence. Small smiles that appear at just the right moment. Reactions that align without needing to be planned. And once you start noticing these small details, it becomes hard not to see them in other moments as well. This is what makes the scene in Swim feel so special to many people. Because for some fans, that moment isn't just part of a performance, but rather a reflection of a dynamic they've been observing for a long time. It's as if the lyric doesn't just function as part of the song, but also expresses something more personal, something that feels aligned with what is often seen in reality. In the end, what makes it all feel meaningful isn't a single scene or a single line, but a collection of many small moments that, when put together, form a bigger picture. This consistency is the key, the alignment between what is said, what is shown, and what is felt by those watching. However, the discussion around Swim doesn't stop there. On another note, there have been talks about the 2.0 music video project, which is said to be inspired by the legendary Korean film Old Boy, directed by Park Chan-wook. This information immediately sparked curiosity among fans, especially after a few short clips began circulating. Many speculate that the concept will be much darker, more intense, and filled with symbolism compared to previous works. If that's true, then this project has the potential to reveal a new side that hasn't been widely shown before. On top of that, rumors suggest there may be more music videos from other songs on the album, which naturally heightens fans' excitement even further. Additionally, attention has also been drawn to Jimin and Jungkook's recent interaction on social media. Both were seen liking and even sharing a post related to Swim that featured an illustration of Jimin underwater. At first glance, this may seem like a normal form of support for a project they're involved in, something very natural for an artist to do. But once again, a small detail makes the situation more interesting. The account that posted the illustration turns out to be one specifically focused on Jimin and Jungkook, an account known among fans as a Jikook account. Nearly all of its content consists of edits, clips, and moments highlighting their closeness. Of course, it's very possible that they didn't explore the entire account. It's more reasonable to assume they simply saw the post individually, found it appealing, and interacted with it. This explanation is simple, logical, and not excessive. But as often happens, interpretations don't stop at just one perspective. Reactions from different sides began to emerge. Some people consider the action as fan service, as if the interaction carried a hidden meaning intentionally directed at fans. However, this is where a contradiction appears. Because Jungkook did the same thing, he also shared the post. If the action is considered fan service, then the same judgment should apply to both of them. Yet in reality, that's not always the case. In many instances, Jimin tends to receive more criticism, while Jungkook's actions are often overlooked or excused. This pattern reveals a bias that is difficult to ignore. Furthermore, there is a tendency to assume that every interaction Jungkook has with Jimin carries a specific motive, as if everything is planned or insincere. In reality, such assumptions lack strong evidence and are largely speculative. If that logic were applied consistently, then almost every interaction in the entertainment world could be labeled as fan service. Interactions between artists and fans, support for fellow members' work, even simple gestures in public, all could be interpreted in the same way. But in reality, that standard is never applied evenly. And when judgment changes depending on who is being judged, it's no longer objectivity, it becomes justification of a certain viewpoint. Ultimately, this situation shows that many narratives within fandoms are shaped not only by what happens, but by how people choose to see it. The same event can lead to vastly different interpretations, depending on each perspective. Going back to Jimin and Jungkook's interaction, the simplest explanation remains the most reasonable. They saw something they liked, and they interacted with it. Nothing more, nothing less. Yet that's exactly what makes it so interesting, not the action itself, but how it is understood, magnified, or even debated by those who witness it. Because in the end, sometimes it's not the moment itself that becomes the main story, but the way we choose to see it. So now, after seeing all these details, what do you think? Is this really just part of a music video? Or is it a small glimpse of something much more real? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm truly curious to hear all your perspectives. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss more interesting analyses about Jikook. See you in the next video, and remember, sometimes the simplest things hold the deepest stories.